like what, three?
Three, I think.
I think.
What is this?
This is the comments. It's happening. You guys can see yourself commenting as we're doing this. So later on when you're watching, you can see your own comments come up and we can reflect upon that with what we're actually talking about. We're doing these live so you guys can interact, so we can talk about this together. We got Nadia here.
Yo,
What's
what
up,
up,
Nadia?
Nadia?
So basically what we're trying to do is talk about the brand new topic that you guys have come up with.
Exactly.
You guys, please, if you have any other topic ideas, leave them in the comment section. We'll pick them. So the comment coming up next, or I guess the topic that we're going to talk about next,
is life of K-pop fans.
the life of a K-pop fan, and just like we're trying to focus on a certain aspect of the life of a K-pop fan, meaning the relationship with other K-pop fans and their life as just how are they different than anyone else?
Exactly. So like right off the bat, like as a K-pop fan, I feel like a lot of them are like, it's almost like an embarrassment. Not an embarrassment per se, but it's hard to express to family.
Anything odd is going to be a little bit, people aren't going to accept it as much. Like, I know from my own personal experience, I don't know many people who know K-pop.
No.
Most of my friends are like, what in the world is K-pop? They see my videos and they say, I don't get it.
They don't get exactly
I don't get
the same thing. I've showed it to my family members, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm just doing what I've always done, reacting to K-pop." And they're like, "But what is K-pop?" And I'm like, "It's just music from Korea." And they're like, "I guess that makes sense."
Exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, K-pop's going international.
Yeah.
So many other countries are experiencing K-pop for the first time. There's a lot of K-pop fans in every country, but you guys could probably go and think about it for yourself and know that it's not necessarily something you have a ton of support for.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, like, think about throwing up all these posters on your walls, or getting all these albums, or wanting to go to KCON, or stuff like that, and they're thinking, oh, it's just a phase I hope they're going through, and they'll eventually outgrow it, or whatever, like that.
Like right there, Emma, I guess I'll point here, it says that her sister rolls her eyes and groans whenever they mention or play K-pop, and it's like one of those things where it's like, even though you like it, people give you this stigma where they're like, oh, you're doing that. So even with your family members, if it's something you like and you get that kind of stigma, why would you want to share it anymore? You become secluded in yourself.
You keep it to yourself, and then you cling to it even harder.
Yeah.
And then when someone else, actually likes the same thing you like, you have this automatic bond with them.
Exactly. And the thing is I imagine if your family's not accepting it, people probably keep it even more compact from just accepting anybody else.
Sure.
Like, if they ask, what do you do in your free time? You'll be like, just watch videos online, not telling them that they're actually music videos.
You stay general and you don't talk about it. I see in my own life, I'll start BSing and I'll start, like, beating around the bush.
Yeah.
Like, if someone figures out I have a YouTube channel, like, what's it about? I'm like, oh, I do music reviews. Or something.
Like,
I'll say music reviews. When I don't say K-pop reactions, because I'm thinking they don't understand that, and I don't want them to judge me and be like, why is some white dude watching Korean music videos?
The weirdest thing was when my friends found out I had a YouTube channel about K-pop, I got like 3 texts that almost sounded like it was something wrong, but it was okay, where they're like, bro, I understand, you really like K-pop. I like interesting music too. And I'm like, what?
He's tried to relate to you?
Time out.
You're both odd, is what he was saying.
Yeah, but I'm like, time out. First of all, I liked it because it's just a good music genre. And second of all, it's not weird, I'm just YouTubing. And third of all, I have to continue YouTube for these guys. Like, I can't stop now.
Yeah, I can't imagine with not doing it.
Right.
Because it's such a big part of my life and I love it so much.
Right.
Like, if my channel got strikes tomorrow and they deleted it.
Don't even. Oh.
If they deleted my channel, I would immediately just start a new one and continue where I left off.
And you'd be also video moving in with me, as in you'd totally be okay. I'd totally be okay with you uploading videos on my
100%,
channel.
100%. So, like, I'm going to ask you guys a question right now. Do you guys, as K-pop fans, ever feel like you get, I wouldn't say hate is the right word, but
looked at differently.
You get looked at differently. You don't feel like it's awesome and it's easy to share.
Yeah.
You feel like it's not a cool thing to be able to share that with people. I feel like most of the time people are going to look at you a little strange. Unless you're in South Korea and you've got all Korean friends. If you say, I'm thinking if you like K-pop, it's just people understand it more, because I've seen vlogs in Korea and there's literally cutouts of like SHINee members showing products at the mall.
Right.
It's so much more accepted there. It's in the stores. It's everything. If I hear K-pop on the radio, which I've only heard once in my life with Gangnam Style,
it's weird.
You get excited.
Like, wow. It's like, and the thing is for instance, an example would be, my company had an outing, and we went to Dave & Buster's, and they have this one game, and it's like the Korean DDR, where instead of up, down, left, right, it's the diagonal and the center.
Oh, cool,
and
cool.
At first I was like, I don't know any of these Korean songs. Then Block B Her is one of the options, and my coworker who's on the second one is like, I was like, we should play this one, and they're like, do you know K-pop? And I was like, I know music from all over the place.
See, you feel like you don't want to say, yeah, I'm a huge K-pop fan.
And then as we were dancing, they noticed that I was like going do 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 do, and they're like, you know this, and I was like, and they were like, you're weird, and then they left. No, I'm just kidding. They just it was so weird because
different.
If it was any other. It could even be country for America, because I always say I don't like country, but they're like, you like country. Totally different vibe from them. Mm-hmm. K-pop, they're like, you like K-pop? It's almost along the same lines as if you say you like watching anime.
Yeah. You feel like you have to excuse it sometimes. You got to explain it. Like if I was watching a music video, like one time I was, someone I knew came by and they didn't know what that was. They're like, "What are you watching?" And I was like, trying to keep it to myself a little bit.
Nothing. Try to be casual about it, right?
Yeah, because if they see me watching like a Girls' Generation music video, my very white American guy friends are gonna give me crap for it. They're gonna give me crap, because I don't know, what comments are you reading?
Like I was reading KCON Shima's, and that individual is saying how they're as like Koreebus, which is like weeboo for anime, so Korean weeboo for K-pops.
Exactly,
for K-pops. And yeah, my family thinks it's just a phase. It's. You know what? I wonder though if it's almost like that's how some people in Korea treat like the sasaengs. Because you have a businessman dad in South Korea, and he probably just opens his daughter's door for dinner, and if he sees like posters all over the wall, and she's like our age, she's 23 living at home for dinner, and he wouldn't be like, oh, it's K-pop. He'd probably be like, this is a phase.
Yep. He's just counting down the time, waiting for that to go by, as if it's something negative and it's something that it's just hoping will pass through.
Right.
Isn't that interesting though?
It's weird.
But it can be the same here, because what if there was my little sister was a Bieber girl, or Jonas Brothers, or NSYNC.
It's just a phase.
Yeah, they're thinking anything boy bandish. They're thinking, oh, it's a phase.
I mean, that was true for my sister. Now she listens to like the hardest rock.
Well, there you go.
But
there you go.
in the form of K-pop, it's not something that you necessarily have other people like tell, like in your immediate group being like, oh, I like this. With like people like Bieber, they're usually like one friend's like, this is a really good song. The radio's telling you it's a really good song, so you're like, oh, I'll get into this popular thing. Mm-hmm. Compared to K-pop, where you hear this and you're like, oh, FX Electric Shock, I love this.
It's tough. Yeah. I feel like there's different types of K-pop. There's a lot of different subgenres within K-pop. I feel like the quote-unquote boy band K-pop, like really boy bandish stuff, or girl bandish K-pop, that's the stuff that gets branded and like pushed away by anyone who doesn't understand it. But if it was just like Epic High or MFBTY, I guess those are more K-hip hop. But I feel like there's some genres where it's more...
I agree. I know what you're saying, because even in America, there's one genre that always is like different, where indie music. So the phrase indie music simply means music that isn't under a developer or under a recorder. It's independent. But nowadays, indie music is Bombay Bicycle Club style. It's no longer
that's been branded as,
because indie rap no longer is indie music. Indie is a genre. So like K-pop, it's the opposite with K-pop. K-pop isn't Korean pop. It's just the genre that's holding all the music by these big groups. What I think really makes it K-pop is the fact that it's idols who are doing it, people who are beyond artists. They're idols because people look up to them, right?
Yeah.
Like you were saying, MFBTY is not pop. Like,
it could be poppy, like Bang Diggy Bang Bang.
Right, but like Jay Park,
yeah.
Like his Drive, that's not pop. That's straight up moistness and humidity. There's nothing about that.
So there's a lot of different subgenres within it. Some get more hate than others. When I feel like you have... Like, MFBTY is an example of guys and girls, like, they all met and they knew each other beforehand and they debuted themselves. And they married. There's an OTP within that already happened. Perfect. So that's more like traditional Western music, where it's a group that they all knew each other beforehand. They did garage bands, local bars, and they like did all these performances themselves until they got recognized and signed. They didn't train in a group a whole bunch.
And one thing is like with CL coming to America for K-pop, it's almost like breaking that bridge where people think it's weird. Because my whole thing at the end of the day, I love the music videos, I love the idols, but I just really just care about the music. And I love how music is a way to bridge the gap between anything, and it's a language everybody can speak. So if K-pop just becomes prevalent in America, where people just are like, oh yeah, it's just from a different country, that would be ideal. But instead, what you have is people aren't able to talk to it outwardly, so now we rely on things like this chat, right? Where these I guess you could say, reactors that you guys watch, and now you're all talking to each other. Maybe you made best friends from commenting on one of our videos.
Online, though.
Online.
How many of you guys have friends in person that you love K-pop
that
with?
you didn't meet through online?
Yep. Someone you just knew through your own social group where you're both just into K-pop.
Yeah.
And you can physically hang out with them and talk like the way Akbar and I do.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you guys have that? I've seen
Rare.
very few have that.
Rare.
So they're ending up going online more and trying to have real relationships with people and communities, because it's tough to find someone in a physical proximity to you that actually likes the same thing as you.
Well, not even that. It's like, this is so, I guess, still
No
niche.
one.
No one's.
One. Someone says one.
4
zero
K-pop friends at
fans.
IRL. Max Tosh, you are
Zero.
lucky. 0.
Yeah, 0.
Zero.
So there are people who will fortunately have friends like that, but most people stay silent right there.
Yeah.
They stay silent
And
as a
it
K-pop
sucks.
fan.
How can you, like, if you love Taekwondo, but Taekwondo was looking at weird, how is that even a thing?
It's tough. You try to hang out with more people there at
Yeah.
Taekwondo, or you like go to practices or go to tournaments or whatever. Like,
and that's the thing is
you gotta go events. That would
events.
be KCON.
Exactly. So
KCON is where everyone is finally together. I've seen amazing things happen at KCON.
it must be adorable. Probably.
You're going to the next
I'm
one
going to the
for
next
sure.
KCON because
I'm not letting
experience
I'm
it.
not letting him skip it again.
No, I'm going to experience it because I need to experience that. You're the only one who likes K-pop besides me.
You'll see people in line, and people who did not know each other, they'll just talk to each other. They'll just immediately start talking like they're best friends about their bias and all that, and they'll just start talking about a group, and it's just this bond. For the first time, you can tell they're just excited because they're talking to someone personally that loves the same thing as them.
And there's literally no judgment at all.
None.
And the thing is one person could like one song and the other one could like another one, and they could just have this intellectual discussion, be like, this is why I like this song. Almost like they're doing in-person reactions. So they become reactors.
Everyone's a reactor.
Everybody,
it's just we're filming our reactions.
Yeah, and just for some reason you guys think I'm funny. He's pretty funny, I don't know why.
It's amazing though to see that bond immediately happen. Like even if like there was an EXO fan and a BTS fan in line, and they're just talking to each other, and EXO might, they might really be against BTS for one reason or another. If they're both K-pop fans and they're talking about a group they have in common, they'll be immediate best friends.
Yeah, because you know what?
Immediately.
It could be like,
if they're in a day 6 line, they're gonna be best friends.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is, I feel like if you were in line and you see someone wearing ARMY stuff and you have XOL, but if it's like GOT7 and you're like, I love GOT7, it's like, yeah, right?
Exactly.
And you don't care anymore. I hate the fact that for some reason when you're behind a screen, this malice sometimes comes
Imagine
out.
2 people.
Yeah.
Let's say 2 guys.
2
person
guys.
1, person 2. They're in a day 6 line. Okay, one of them loves BTS, one of them hates it. What if they're just starting to talk about day 6?
Yeah.
And then eventually, person 2 says, "Oh, I really love. My favorite song right now is BTS's Fire," and the other person doesn't like BTS at all. Online, he might have
been the anti.
He might have started to take jabs. He might have called that person out and said, "You just like a talentless group," or blah blah blah. In person, he's not going to say that.
No, because in person it'll be like, wait, I can like freak out with you.
I don't think that personal attacks would happen as often.
No.
I didn't see that at all at KCON at first.
If you see personal attacks, tell that person to leave because they're just an awful individual.
You don't see that.
No.
People aren't going to do that. But when you have that anonymity behind the screen,
yes.
It's insane. And what's crazy is most of you guys were saying, I don't know anyone in person. Like,
right.
K-pop fans are so rare in your own location.
In your area.
K-pop fans, when they meet each other, they should be like, we're both K-pop fans. And they should cling together because that's all they have.
That's all you have. And now I'm like picturing in my head at KCON you have like an EXO girl and like an ARMY guy, and it's like this Romeo and Juliet where the fandoms are like, you cannot be with that one.
Exactly.
It's like gotten to that point, and you know what? I dislike. I don't dislike it, but it's a symptom. It's like, even in the chat, you guys, some of you are saying, oh, I'm an ARMY, but I love this song. I love EXO. I hate the fact that it has gotten to the point, like that right there.
They
Otaku
have
girl.
to say.
You have to say that you like both.
If you like BTS, you have to say, but I also like some EXO stuff.
Right.
Because there's so much hate there. It's just, you gotta cover your butt. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know.
No, it sucks because for me, I also like I adore 21 and CL. She's queen, but I love Blackpink. And on one of my, this is just an example, on one of my reactions, I compared Blackpink to 21, and I got all this malice, but I was like, I like them both.
Doesn't matter, though.
Doesn't matter, because
there's so much hate.
Yeah.
I now find myself in a reaction. I used to, back in the day, when I didn't like something, I didn't give any explanation. I just said, I didn't like it. back in J.J. in the very beginning.
Oh yeah,
we didn't like it.
Yeah,
and sometimes I would say why, sometimes I wouldn't. But now, if I decide that I don't like a song at the end of the reaction, I try to look for good things about it. I try to say, like, I know this isn't the only type of concept this group does, because it's true. But I also say that because you get so much hate anytime you give any opinion ever. So you feel like you can't have one, or if you have an opinion that's negative, you gotta cover your butt. You have to play it.
It's silly, because there are times where... And I'm very accepting of music. Even if I like a song 50%, I'll be like, okay, I liked it.
Yeah.
So, but I always have to say, I like this song, and then I always have to preface it but I liked this same artist's other song more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Block B, they release so many songs, and some of them I like, but I always have to say, but I like her more, because that's like my... it's like a cream of the crop song.
But all of this is something we were talking about before we even started this K-Talk, before the camera was on. We were saying... Fan wars are so silly because they wouldn't happen in real life.
Yeah, it's like you are your own. You're like fighting your own kin.
If fan wars truly wouldn't make a difference, if it was behind a keyboard or in person, KCON would be the most dangerous event possible.
Dude, it would be like gangs.
It would be like inviting the Bloods and the Crips to the same party.
exo-ls with the armies with like the
It would truly be like having two gangs that have blood hate against each other and put them in the same room.
And the reactors are kingpins.
Exactly. That's what KCON would turn into. Just a giant street fight.
It'd be like,
that's the way it actually was.
It'd be going to like a death metal concert where when the idols are singing, you have like a mosh pit of people just
and we know people online that will just go and try to start something. I've seen people do it on my videos.
Really?
I've seen it on Twitter.
Oh, like online in comments. Yeah,
I'll make a comment like saying, "Oh, I love EXO," and I've seen people say, "I hate EXO. They're the most talentless group." Blah 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 blah. Can you imagine in real life in KCON, someone's just having a conversation? Oh, I'm a fan of this. The guy will just walk up and then just announce to everyone, "Oh, I hate EXO." Blah blah blah. Like the same comment he made online. Can you imagine him announcing that in the middle of KCON? Everyone would stop, look at him. People might laugh, but
he's holding a sign. God hates EXO.
It would be so out of place because that doesn't happen in real life.
And you know what is my biggest gripe is when there's a good song by, like, say BTS releases a genuinely, like, mostly good song, someone who just hates BTS will just be like, no, it sucks. Just because of that, like, malice. Like, I don't care who you are. Blood, Sweat, and Tears is just fantastic.
It is pretty amazing.
It's really good.
It's amazing. But think about before BTS even came along. If you were like such a fan of SHINee, and you love SHINee, and you've blocked every other group out of your mind because you just focus on SHINee, and that's fine. Can you imagine? You think SHINee's the best group ever, and they're a great group. Imagine if they were first place ranking on all the charts, and then eventually some other group that you don't even really know about, maybe BTS, you never got into them, you kind of didn't like them at all, they start topping the charts over your group, you're going to automatically be like, how dare this other group? Like, this is my group, and they're getting beat by some random other group, and then that could turn into hate that isn't really even justified other than jealousy.
But regardless, the end product is still the same,
which is hate. The end product is hate.
Yeah.
I think that if we saw behind any troll the real reasons and what they were actually feeling and why, we wouldn't hate, but we would not like it still.
And I think it's more frustration because...
we would just feel sad that happened.
And I wonder if this goes back into dealing with K-pop fans just being embarrassed in their daily lives, is because as a K-pop fan, since you don't have anybody around you who likes what you like, now you're going in this platform where there's so many K-pop fans, but they still don't like what you like.
Yep.
And then the problem is no matter, this is something I truly believe, no matter what group of people you will have terrible people within that group. That's just the way it works.
Yep. You're going to have a percentage of any fan base that are
fan base, the job market, anything. So
the bigger a group get, the bigger
the percentages,
that smaller percentages.
Yeah. So in terms of like, you have you like SHINee. In real life, nobody cares that you like K-pop. You're online and say you like SHINee, but now you have these people from other fandoms, like the terrible people who are like crap talking you for SHINee. So now you really, really are clinging to SHINee.
Yeah.
Where now it's like almost like when you pet a dog when you feed them after they've been abused, they growl at you even though you're showing them love. It's this weird, you become super protective of it in a bad way.
Yeah. No, for sure. You almost become a soldier for that group.
For Army.
I mean, Army just works.
Yeah.
I think they were almost able to see into the future. Any fans of this fandom base, they're going to get so much hate, we might as well just call them an Army at this point. Because there's going to be so many. But yeah, I'm just reading the comments now.
Oh yeah.
K-pop depend on obsessive fans.
I agree, but at the same time, there's a limit between being obsessed about a group and then being hateful towards other groups.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I will say this. I will say this. I think some of these fan wars are entertaining. I do.
Okay.
I think they're awesome sometimes. You know, I've seen personal attacks, and that's not okay.
That's not.
But when things just go to shit on Twitter, when things blow up, like out of control, because I said one thing that I liked about one song, I love it. I'll call it back, but I'm like, dude, you gotta check this out. And we're like, I was like, dude, we gotta call up Chance. Get him to join this. Get him to join them. Get on the group chat and everything. We love it. We love it. Sometimes if it's a personal attack on us and that blows up, we can really hate it, but
most of the time it's just it's entertaining to see how
it keeps things interesting.
It does, and there's a limit. But I just don't like it when people are like saying "kill yourself," like die. It's like,
and that's why some people stay off Twitter, because Twitter is like the very catalyst, the epicenter of this hate.
Yeah. No, basically what we're trying to say is just love your K-pop brothers and sisters and just continue to be weird like everybody says. Be those weirdos. I don't really think
we'll end with one example.
Yeah.
I think it's very possible there have been people who absolutely hated each other online, gave each other the worst messages, trying to troll each other to the core, and then they probably met in person at KCON. That's probably happened before, and they didn't know that each other was, ScanCon 42. It's just like all this other thing.
And BTS sucks 89. And then they
meet. And they're friends, and they know that they have different biases, but they don't care. And then they figure it out, and they're like, holy crap.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, do you know social... Oh, sorry, continue.
They'll say we hated each other in real life.
Yeah. And then they introduce each other with social media, and he's like, I don't have one.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
We're going so off script right now. Not that there even is a script, but
there's
we could literally talk about this forever, just like the life of a K-pop fan, because we both, and only recently, I think for me and him, if I'm going to speak for you.
You can speak for me.
When we were in JJ, we more had just K-pop like shown to us for a while. Slowly, we found a couple songs here and there we liked. He always crossed his arms. I was always
very
critical.
analytical. Yeah,
and it really wasn't until the very end of JJ where we found like, okay, I like Epic High now. I like MFBTY. We found groups we liked and found songs we liked. It wasn't until we started our own channels. Even in the beginning of my channel, I said non-K-pop fan reaction because I didn't consider myself a K-pop fan. Right. And then I'd say halfway through my channel's growth, like a half a year later, I was like, all right, I know I'm a K-pop fan. Right. There are groups I like. There's posters on my wall.
Yeah.
I'm a K-pop fan.
And the thing is when I saw a video, like for the first time a K-pop video, I was like, this is interesting. That's like the safe way.
It was freaking weird.
Yeah, that was the
safe way. It was really freaking weird. Just because it's different.
G-Dragon. One of the first videos. Thought he had a nose booger with the J.J. days.
That was Taemin's Danger.
Oh, that was Taemin's Danger. Yeah, the nose booger. And I was like, why does he have a booger?
It was so weird. Yeah. And then eventually you get used to it and you start loving it and you start seeing things you love. It's just, it grows on you to the point where you're like, all right, I need to watch more of this. Like last night we stayed up way too late and we were just showing each other K-pop videos the whole night. That happens now. When the camera isn't on, we just show each other K-pop videos for hours.
And we usually call each other out. We're like, bro, we are literally reacting to K-pop videos with no camera. And then he looks at me like, oh my god.
Anyway, that's all to say we think all K-pop fans should love each other.
Love
and
you
if
guys.
they were in real life, they would.
Yeah. If you just be friendly. Remember, K-pop is like all we got. We got to stick together.
We got to stick together. Yeah. We're not very many right now, okay?
No,
we need to
not in America
stick together and be friends and remember that when you're online.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
So I hope you guys really enjoyed this.
I hope you enjoyed this
K-Talk about K-pop fans in life.
K-pop fan's life. Yeah. A life of a K-pop fan. When this stream is over, we're going to move this video over to the K-Talk channel. Yeah. So, please check that out.
Please subscribe to K-Talk.
Yeah, we're eventually moving these streams over to K-Talk.
So we're just going to have the streams purely on K-Talk because that's the whole idea of K-Talk. We just want to talk with you guys and have this sort of campfire, fireside chat.
Exactly.
Just talking about anything K-pop. Because
all things K-pop.
Yeah, we react. You watch us react to the music videos, but we're like, there's so much more we could talk about.
Exactly. Yeah. 2 questions.
2.
1, please, do you have any topics you would love us to talk about? If you have any topics, please put them down below.
Yeah, down below.
2, this chat is happening now. Where's the chat?
Right here. This guy.
This is the chat. Do you guys want us to keep the chat? Do you want us to not keep the chat? Do you want us to have the chat in the background that only you can see when you're participating live?
Would you like me to write down everything in the chat and try to read it out loud?
We want to hear your thoughts on what you think of the chat window, because this is still in the intro development stage of K-Talk.
To get this window up here, we'll tell you, that was
hours of work.
It
took us both just ultra focused and trying to figure it out.
We actually have 13 people that are doing it for us right now.
Okay.
They're making the screen appear there.
This is magical elves making it happen. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for participating in this K-Talk.
Appreciate everything.
We got a K-Talk, one more coming right after this.
Right after this.
And then we're going to see you in that one, and then it's just going to be radio silence for a while. But it's okay. It's okay, because we were just going to prepare and then do more K-Talks.
And it's going to be so much better.
It's going to be more scheduled basis.
More scheduled, yep. Alrighty then. So until next time, guys. Peace.